In charge of nothing.
Town of Prescott Valley CFD Board meeting, October 14th, 2021. Call to order. Clerk, please call the roll.
Board Member Kinsinger.
Present.
Board Member Dickinson.
Here.
Board Member Hepperly.
Here.
Board Member Schumacher.
Present.
Board Member Packard.
Present.
Vice Chair Hunt.
Present.
Chairman Paluda.
Present.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Item 3A, amendment, modified parking access agreement and conveyance, Lot 9, Event Center, consideration and possible action. Mr. Legler, the floor is yours.
Mr. Mayor and Mr. Chairman and board members. In 2006, the idea was to have 1,300 parking spaces for the event center, with the anticipation that some of those would eventually go away and would be built on by the Fane Group. And it's taken a lot longer to do that than was thought would happen at the time. But now they've come forward and said, okay, if we're going to build this new apartment complex, we need to get rid of one of those parking areas. And so Lot 9 has been chosen. Their agreement says that they will always be providing 1,000 parking spaces. And so there are still more than 1,000 being provided now. What we've got to do is amend the agreement so that we remove Lot 9, and we also need to reconvey the actual ground. The ground was conveyed to the board, the district actually, so that there wouldn't be any property tax. And so now they need to get it back. And you heard that the financing for those apartments is conditional on getting a HUD grant, and they've got to own the property in order to go forward with that HUD application. And so they were very anxious for us to take this action so they could start that process.
All right, with that being said, do we have any questions for Mr. Legler? Vice Mayor? Oh, you have a question? I'm sorry, Councilwoman.
I've done that twice to you now.
No, you're fine.
Apologize.
You're fine.
So, if you could elaborate a little bit, Ivan, on the parking. Lot 9, of course, is on the west side of Florentine. And
I always think of it as the south.
South side?
South side,
okay,
right,
pardon
yeah.
me, my direction. You'd think I'd be better at directions being a former air traffic controller, but that's been several years. Okay, so the parking provided 309, and we were only allowed initially 1,000, and so we're getting 120 at the new complex. Is that correct? Am I misunderstanding that? There's so many figures here.
Well, you started out with over 1,300, and so you're giving back 300 some, and you're still over 1,000. We're not even considering the parking garage in that calculus right now. We're just removing that parking area so that they can build this facility. The agreement continues to function. Everything that is needed for the event center is still there. Whether or not the parking agreement will be amended in the future to include any of the spaces in the new parking garage is still an open question. One of the reasons that they had this parking agreement in the past was to actually be able to convey it to the district so that there wouldn't be any tax. That's going to be a little difficult to do when you're talking about floors in a parking garage. And it looks like those parking spaces are just going to be available. Whether they'll actually be included in this parking agreement is still an open question.
I see. Okay, that's where I was a little bit confused. I didn't realize that it was not going to be part of the parking agreement. Okay.
Councilman?
The other question then, the parking lot west of the Finley Center is the spaces we're talking about, but what about the parking lot north of the Finley Center?
All of that stays.
That's all included in that 1,000
That all
spots.
stays. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Vice Mayor?
Ivan, are we allowed to ask you questions about the dollar per ticket today, or is that not on the agenda?
The parking agreement itself continues as it always has. And so all of the provisions dealing with the dollar per, that's all related to how many people are at events. And so that doesn't change. All we're changing is the number of parking spaces that are part of the agreement.
So I guess my question is, 1,000 tickets should have that extra dollar, but what if they sell 1,500 tickets? Those other 500 shouldn't have that extra dollar.
The dollar is simply related to how many people attend.
Any other questions from council?
I'm a little confused over that. Please clarify again, Ivan. I thought I had it straight, but now I'm a little bit confused. Okay. It's $1 per parking spot.
No, it's $1 per ticket.
$1 per ticket.
Correct.
Okay,
Not per
so
space.
This is unrelated to that calculus for paying for events in the event center. This simply guarantees that this shared parking area will still have more than 1,000 spaces available. That's all this is talking about.
Okay.
With that, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve the amended modified parking access agreement with Four Seasons Investment Company, LLC, in relation to the event center, and to authorize the mayor, or in his absence, the vice mayor, to sign the special warranty deed reconveying Lot 9 to Four Seasons by electronic vote.
I second.
Clerk, please call the vote.
Councilmember Packard,
Yes.
I'm sorry, Board Member Packard. And Board Member Dickinson?
Yes.
That passes unanimously, Chairman.
Thank you, ma'am. Item 4, comments from the public. By the looks of the audience, by a show of hands, anyone want to say anything? No? Moving on.
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll second.
Clerk, please call the vote.
Board
Yes.
Member Packard, thank you. That passes unanimously.